One person's dead, two others are in hospital. This is after a shooting near Queen and Portland overnight. And CP24's Courtney Hills joins us live with the latest in the investigation and an update from police.
In the morning, that shooting investigation has obviously now become a homicide investigation for which we have taken carriage. Just after 2:30 in the morning, we received several calls for service to this address in relation to a shooting. Officers from 14 Division attended the scene, and we located 3 victims at that point in time. 2 of the victims were rushed to a local trauma center, and the third was taken to a local hospital. One of those, a 30-year-old male, was pronounced deceased at the trauma center. The other victim was a 36-year-old female, and the other was a 33-year-old male. Both of them have non-life-threatening injuries at this point in time. In terms of the investigation itself, we're obviously seeking the public's assistance to speak with any witnesses who may have been here last night. There was a large group of people here in some of the local establishments behind me. I would like to say, first of all, that the local establishments have been fantastic. They've been very helpful. We have been speaking with them. We are in the process of obtaining video surveillance from the establishments themselves, as well as other businesses in the area. But again, there were a lot of people here last night, and I'm asking for the public's assistance. Anyone who might have been here or had driven by or seen anything or have any dash cam footage, if they would reach out to us, we'll be working out of 14 Division, or they can contact Toronto Police Homicide Unit, and they can be connected to myself or my team that are currently investigating this. I will take some questions. Obviously, it's early in the investigation, so hopefully I can answer them for you, but I'll do my best.
Was this targeted or random?
I want to say it's too early for me to know for sure whether it was targeted or random. I will say the shooting happened out on the sidewalk, and I do believe targeted, but to what extent, I don't know yet. I don't know the relationship between the parties, so I don't want to go and say it's specifically targeted. There might have been an interaction that happened earlier. I'm not sure yet. It's just too early for me to know.
Where were the people that were shot? I know they're out somewhere on the sidewalk, but were they at a club earlier on or something, and something may have transpired inside a club here?
There were a lot of people here in a variety of different establishments. You can see that there's a couple clubs, a restaurant there. People were in and out of all of those establishments. The actual incident occurred on the sidewalk itself, and then as a result, people fled to different locations, including some of those establishments, for safety. The shooting happened sort of between Portland over to that alleyway that you can see over there. I'm not going to.
Down Portland to Rush Lane?
From Portland over to that laneway, that's correct, yes.
Suspect vehicle was described in an online post, just a dark colored car. Is it your belief the shooting took place in the vehicle, like were shots fired out of a vehicle, or did the suspect or suspects just take off in that vehicle?
I believe the vehicle involved was just coming to and from the scene itself. Our suspect vehicle is what we're describing as a dark 2-door sedan at this point in time. I don't have a make or model, but as soon as I have that, I'll pass that information along to the public.
Detective, I know it's early in the investigation, but do police believe that there's any connections with any of the other shootings that we've seen in the last couple months?
I have no indication that it's related to anything else at that point, and again, it's way too early for me to make a comment on that, unfortunately.
Sorry, were shots fired from the car? Do you know that, or was this on the sidewalk and then the car was used to get away?
My understanding is shots were fired on the sidewalk itself, but again, still early in the investigation and reviewing the footage that we are, coming in as we speak, and trying to look at that right now as well.
We saw forensic investigators inside the nightclub here. Is there any indication that maybe there was an altercation inside the club and then spilled out onto the street?
Unfortunately, it's too early for me to know. I'm still in the process of getting all that footage. Like I said, all the establishments have been great, but it's just too early for me to have had a chance to review all of that yet to accurately speak to that for you.
Can you tell us about what were investigators doing inside the house?
I'm not going to speak to what's going on inside. Obviously, it's our forensic identification services, and so they're doing their job processing, a potential scene for us and gathering any potential evidence. But, there's also markers outside. They've done a great job for us, and they're going to probably still be here for a little while as well.
Quick question.
Do all the victims do they know each other? Is there any relation or?
I'm not aware at this time of any relationship between the three victims, no.
How about the victims and the suspects?
Again, too early to know any relationships between them.
Any message for the residents of this neighborhood that may be worried, have questions? Maybe a reassuring word for like the residents of this community?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in terms of a public safety factor, anytime you have somebody with a firearm and they're openly shooting that firearm in the middle of a crowded roadway in the city of Toronto, there's obviously concerns with regards to firearm safety and violence in the city. But for the residents specifically here, I don't believe there's any safety concerns for them with regards to the neighborhood itself, no. I don't have an indication of that, nor, frankly, would I let you know that at this point in time. Any last questions?
And victim, 30-year-old man.
The deceased is a 30-year-old male. The two surviving victims with non-life-threatening injuries, one is 36 and one is 33.
Do you know if those people are from the Toronto area or are they from outside of Toronto? Because I mean, this area is a place where everybody might.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know their exact, where they're from or where they reside at this point in time. Again, too soon for me to know that. And for their safety and, for their privacy, I probably wouldn't release that anyways.
So it's safe to assume that next of kin haven't been informed yet?
Next of kin for the deceased have been notified, but we're still in the process of notifying additional next of kin, so we won't be releasing any of that information quite yet. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Secretary.
You said that it might be targeted, but you're not quite sure. Would the idea that could the other two victims been hit by stray bullets or?
It's a possibility that we're looking at for sure. Yes. Okay? Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Can I get your name again? I never got your name.
It's Detective Sergeant Trevor.
Okay, if you're just joining us live right now, an update from police on this homicide happening downtown Toronto overnight just before 3 in the morning. Police were called to Queen and Portland, a triple shooting. What we're learning this hour, that a 30-year-old man is the victim, somebody who was shot, suffered critical injuries, rushed to hospital, did not survive, and two others, a 36-year-old female and a 33-year-old male, also taken to hospital, non-life-threatening injuries. There's the question of whether this was targeted. It's still not clear at this time. Police say they're still trying to figure that out. It's possible one individual was targeted. The other two could have been hit with stray bullets. And what we also heard from police, they say there was a large gathering here at the time. That kind of lines up with what we've been hearing from residents along this street, people who live and work here, saying at around 2, 3 in the morning, it can get busy. There are a lot of bars and restaurants around here. So police say, they're hoping the people who maybe saw anything, heard anything can come forward and help with this. They also say the businesses around here are cooperating and they've got some surveillance video, so that will help them identify who might be responsible. It sounds like the shooting happened on the sidewalk just behind me here, and then a vehicle was used to get away from the scene. It's being described as a two-door, dark-colored or black sedan. There's likely going to be more information in terms of a suspect description to come. So we'll continue to stay on this breaking news, but a triple shooting downtown Toronto, now a homicide investigation. 30-year-old man dead as a result, and two others still in hospital. Over to you.
Okay, CP24's Courtney Hills reporting live from the Queen and Portland area where this shooting happened. Thank you very much for the latest information, Courtney.